Welcome everybody to Ember Magma week 5 here as we got some more games going on in our Diamond Plus League here between Knights of the Second Dinner and Stunned Gaming Nebula. Stunned Gaming Nebula are currently 0-3 in the match record. Knights of the Second Dinner are 1-2 in the match record. So a game like this could possibly still affect the standings. We got about 3 more weeks, including this one, to keep on going. It is I, Banana Bread XD, with my gracious co-hosts Senkai and our glorious producer Cicerius. How are you doing today, Kai?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's a great day to cast some League of Legends here. I think I've been casting for about 3 days straight. I did a little Fimble Fumble Rooski on Tuesday, but it'll buff. We have two great teams going up against each other. Always love to see some high tier gameplay going on here.
That's right. And you mentioned that both these teams are on the bottom to middle of the standings, but these games still matter because the format of this league is that all these teams will be making it to playoffs. As a result, if you're a team that is at the bottom of the standings, you don't need to panic about the fact that you won't have that opportunity to get to those playoffs, to get to those best of threes, to get to those series, your chance to really show what you're worth in the double elimination bracket. Your goal is to find a formula that works, right? Like if you're 0-3, that clearly means you haven't found exactly a winning style, but you still have a few weeks to figure that out, right? And stabilize in time for the playoffs. On the other hand, if you're a mid-level team, such as Knights of the Second Dinner for this game, what you want to do is try and improve your execution. The Knights of the Second Dinner, so far this league, have shown a very, for lack of a better word, standard play style, right? They have a typically weak-sided top laner who's usually on a tank. So I believe there was one game of Gnar that I took a look at, but for the rest, it was all your Scions. There was an Urgot game, but for the most part, these tanks. And they have a bot laner who gets all the resources and who generally has done relatively well for themselves with it. So Bandit in their bot lane might be the person to watch on this match. Their team usually plays around them. And so what I want to see from them is I want to see confidence in that what they have been doing can work. And I just want to see them hone in that execution and not let themselves be taken out and upset by one of the teams nipping at their heels so far in this league.
So already off rip, we're just gonna get some targeted bans here against Grummy Pants and gosh darn it, Vapor Wisp. So really like to see those things. And then we have the Sivir, just a very nice little general ban here. But between both these teams, I mean, like you said, at this point, they're kind of like feeling things out here to see what kind of compositions and what like players work better together. Because right now, both these teams are fielding their starters, so it is going to be kind of like a battle of wits at this point to see which team can better edge out in the game overall. So right now we see Fizz, Varus, Ivern, and Sivir banned away here. So lots of good bands, solid bands overall. Because right now, I mean, both these teams, they're pretty high up in the rank overall on their average. But I kind of want to see, like, for me, I like an underdog story. I kind of want to see Stunned win up in this, because if Stunned win now and they win next week, they're going to beat out Iceborne in the head-to-head. So they'll move up to the 6th seed. So I always like to see a little underdog story here, see which team can kind of make it out of the bracket overall. Just get a slightly better matchup in those quarterfinals, because as you know, just a little recap of how the playoffs will work. Every single team in the league will make the playoffs, but first seed will get a bye from the quarters and into the semifinals of the upper bracket, and then everybody else is kind of duking out in the quarters. It is a double elim bracket, so whoever loses in the playoffs first round will get knocked down into that lower quarterfinals. So I kind of like really like to see how both these teams will kind of duke it out here, because on paper, Knights of the Second Dinner are just a smidge better rank wise. But Stunned Gaming, they could pull out some really crazy shenanigans and steal a match win away from Stunned or
That'd be
from
a big
Knights.
deal. We mentioned that Knights is middle of the bracket. Well, they're only 1-2. Stun Game Nebula has not yet won a series, but they're just one series away from tying fourth, fifth, and sixth place in this league. If they win both of their next series, they could make a tangible bid for the upper rankings. That's how close this league has been so far. You also mentioned the head-to-head of Iceborne. Well, even if they lose this game, this match rather, so long as Iceborne also lose their series this week, they still have that head-to-head opportunity. So still lots of permutations for how the rest of this bracket could play out. Back to the draft, I do like Ivern. Not even necessarily because we are seeing that many games on it from Stun Game Nebula's jungler, but that's exactly the type of weird thing I kind of want to see Stun Gaming Nebula try. I want to see Stun Gaming Nebula throw something to the wall just to see what sticks, and an Ivern draft certainly can be one of those uh, unconventional play styles that can really throw a wrench in the team that's not expecting it. As far as the draft, though, it does seem to be pretty standard thus far. Wukong, Orianna, both some of the most picked champions during in this league. Uh, just not much to say about it, right? You have your AD bruiser jungler, you pair it with an AP mid range mage with a strong team fighting ultimate, and you're off to the races. Nice second inner actually playing a little bit less conventional with Asol Ezreal here. Do you have any thoughts on that specific mid bot pairing?
Mm. It is very interesting. Like obviously, you pick the mid laner to match the other mid laner, so that is a
Mhm.
strat there. But like I understand why Stun took the Orianna, just because like you first picked Jarvan. It is Emil's most played champion by far, 26 games, 50% win rate so far this season. But like you always want to take away the Orianna because usually if there's a Jarvan, you want to pick something away. Like you want like something else for the ball delivery system. So you take the Orianna away, you get Wukong. So you still have a very solid core there with the Orianna Wukong. And then it's kind of weird that you kind of pick the Ezreal. I mean, Ezreal is just a good overall safe blind pick, but I don't know. Like it's not too bad, and then you pick the misfortune. So I want to see stunned ban away that Braum here, to counteract that misfortune. But obviously, I really hope they're not watching. They're not stream sniping a little bit here. But we're gonna see what they ban away here. But they ban away the Nautilus, and I would assume it would be another support. So they kind of want to keep
At
that
Karma,
misfortune safe. Get
Karma's always who I think about when you see an Ezra on the other side, right? It's not necessarily the best thing in the world of Knight's draft thus far, but it's not horrible either, right? Like I could absolutely see them slotted in if they're just saying, yeah, we're gonna just have a very strong ball in their own. I am kind of interested to see what they're gonna go for the top lane here because, like I mentioned, if you look at the raw KDA of roster, it is primarily their bot laner who is getting most of the work done there. So that being said, not to take anything away from their top laner, um, Vacant Tech has been doing completely fine for what it's worth on this more supporting roles. But you have to wonder if maybe they're underestimating Stun Game Nebula. Maybe they're saying this is our opportunity to try something out, and maybe they are still planning a bot lane centric draft, just one around Ezreal, and they'd rather maintain their support counter pick to gain that draft advantage. Those are both very valid strategies. Um, so I'm interested to see what both teams are gonna pick 4 or 5 here because I think they both picked a relatively flexible base to a draft, right? Neither one of these teams is fully locked into a specific play style yet. So these next picks is really what's going to determine the way that the match goes on Summoner's Rift today. Once we get a bit more direction for the comps.
So it is a Poppy pick here. So stun lock in that R4 Poppy. I really like Poppy overall. It's a good counter to Jarvan, but honestly, like there's not really enough information to kind of consolidate with that Poppy here. And got picked for Knight, so got top lane. So curious to see how that will go here because I'm not too sure how the Poppy got matchup would go. But depending on what Knights pick here support, that Poppy could pivot towards that bot lane most likely.
Exactly. I mean, you also could even go Poppy Jungle Wukong top, right? Like that wouldn't be the craziest flicks I've seen in my life. And it is the Karma.
Yep,
Great. So
yep,
that's exactly what I was
yep. That
mentioning. That's
Karma Israel
why
one you said.
yeah, that's always worth taking a look at. For what it's worth as well, this is not Knight's first game with an Urgot. So they definitely have their comfort pick there. So Team Nebula doesn't have all that much time to decide where they're going to be throwing their champions. They have potentially up to 3 roles they could pick for this R5 pick. So it will be okay. So it will be the top lane. You can only imagine. I've seen a Mordekaiser jungle before, but I can't imagine into champions like Aesol and Ezreal. You'd expect to get much work done there. So Mordekaiser top, Wukong jungle, and Poppy support is what I expected a Stun Game Nebula's draft. But I've been wrong before. I've said these things of where I expect the roles to go, and then we look into the lobby. I'm like, oh wow, that is not what I was expecting. How did they fit Misfortune jungle? Like that's that sort of thing.
Like with Mordekaiser, it is like a pseudo counter later on. Early game, it does kind of bad because it's Urgot. Urgot does percent max HP with the passive. So Mordekaiser, he's gonna have a little rough time early, but later on, I mean, Mordekaiser. The great thing about Mordekaiser is no matter what is picked into it, it kind of just you'll always get that 4v4 team fight. So a game like this, I mean, if you pull the Jarvan out the fight or you pull the Aesol out the fight, it's always going to be a great time there just because Mordekaiser can kind of stall out long enough for the rest of the team to kind of recoup. So, because like based on these team comps, I'm assuming Mordekaiser would probably want to take out the Jarvan first. So you kind of lose that big team fight engage there. But for now, I mean, Knights, they have a really solid composition here. Just very, nothing too crazy. It's pretty basic
Yeah.
outside of the Aesol and the Urgot, the solo lanes. But that bot lane, I really expect them to really push the tempo here against that Poppy Misfortune.
I agree. And you mentioned 2 points that I want to put out that Stun Gaming wants to lock in the Jarvan and that Knights should be able to be fairly down the ball lane. Both of those are for the same reason, which is the Poppy picker, right? Misfortune is going to have a bad time, right? You're this relatively early game poke focus AD carry. Well, guess what? You're against Ezreal, who does the exact same thing, who's paired of a Karma, which means that when you have a Poppy as your support, you really don't have the firepower to expect to win that 2v2 poke duel, especially with a Wukong's or jungler. You cannot expect that much help pre-6. So we can generally expect Knights and Secondary to have basically permanent priority in this bot lane unless something crazy happens. Misplays always change theory, of course. But the reason why this Poppy would have been picked to begin with, of course, it doesn't stop Ezreal teleport. It does stop up Aesol's flight, but mostly it can stop Jarvan's entire kit pretty much, right? Obviously, you've got the flag combo where you dash in, but also your ultimate has a dash equipped, which can be canceled with Poppy's steadfast presence. And what that also lets you do is if you combo your Poppy, who might have like a dead man's play at a certain point in the game or something, or Bano Pipes, I suppose, is your movement speed item of choice now. You run in, you're on top of something like a Jarvan, on top of something like an Aesol. You throw up that steadfast presence, and suddenly your Wukong's engage or your Orianna's a command shockwave is all but unmissable, right? Unless you have a perfectly timed flash away from it, you are getting full comboed. And in a composition like Stun Gaming, so has something like a Misfortune Bullet Time, and the Cyclone, the Shockwave, all of these abilities that can combo together, that's going to mean you die, which could be crucial for a team fight, right? So I expect that's how Stun Gaming Nebula was approaching the draft and how they'll be attempting to approach this game as well. Really all Knights the second dinner has to do is avoid that wombo combo. And I do expect their composition to kind of just outscale and outvalue them for the most part. Ezreal Aesol should be pretty difficult for Stun Gaming's comp to stop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With Orianna, you always want to play a champion that is a ball delivery system. Wukong is one of those champions, especially like when he uses the clone and then Nimbus strikes straight on in onto the correct targets, and then just immediately knocks him up with the cyclone, and then that just such easy layup there with the shockwave on top with the bullet time, and then so also little known thing, Jarvan Cataclysm does make him unstoppable.
Oh, it
Keep in
is?
mind.
Oh, that's embarrassing
So
for me.
but with Poppy, it's a good combo because he pops a Cataclysm and then Poppy immediately dives in with her
Heroic
the
charge,
heroic
yeah.
charge and immediately just
Plus the
stuns up
Scallios.
whoever in it. So it's really nice to see. But the big thing with these games, like you said, like Knights of the Second Dinner, they have a great composition here. If they kind of like just scale up into these team fights later on with Aesol, like he kind of just stacks up like crazy. He puts down that E inside the Cataclysm, and he's just getting tons of Stardust. Stun Gaming, they have a little bit more of a good early game composition, good for skirmishing and whatnot. So with Stun Gaming, I kind of want to see them kind of push that tempo early game and really try to punish the over-aggression from the top and the bot side here. So it's kind of on, let's see who the jungler is. It's Grummy. So it's on Grummy to really kind of push the tempo a little bit and punish the overextension. Because like when you're playing something like Ezreal Karma or Urgot, you really want to like push your tempo and try to um assert your dominance, you know? So I really want to see Grummy kind of play around that and look for those key rotations.
Yeah, you maybe even want to prioritize your top lane because I feel like Urgot you can catch out, but how do you catch out an Ezreal Karma, right? Obviously you have the Airsense Flux, but then the Karma has shields and roots and slows and movement speed increase and buffs and all these things that make your bot lane so slippery. And in addition, we were talking about, oh yeah, okay, so you have a ball delivery system in Wukong, you have a ball delivery system, even Poppy, right? But that gets so much harder in these mid to late game standoffs when Karma gets to the point where she's always using mantra to empower her inspire to give that entire team that movement speed because it allows them to just dance around you and become really difficult to pin down. And in addition, uh, again, Aesol and Ezreal outrange at least to a certain point once Aesol gets enough stacks. Orianna Misfortune, so they really don't. I don't feel like Knights of the Second Dinner is going to have any pressure to over engage into these onto these neutral objectives into Fog of War. I feel like they just dance around the objective, harass with a constant poke coming out of their bot lane, and just whittle Stun Gaming Nebula down until Stun Gaming Nebula is forced to pull the trigger in potentially a disadvantageous situation.
Oh, absolutely, Kai. You are an absolute savant when it comes to being a color caster. I just wonder how people do without you. But for now, we're going to be taking a quick little break here. You already know what the compositions are. But for now, we're going to take a quick little break here as we wait for the spectator delay to go down, as we will get into game one between Knights of the Second Dinner and Stun Game Nebula. We'll see y'all on the Rift. Welcome everybody to game one between Knights of the Second Dinner and Stun Gaming Nebula. As we get onto the Rift here, looking at both these compositions, you people already know what's up. But looking at the summoners and the spells overall, nothing too crazy. Misfortune did opt for that first strike here, so looking to possibly pivot into that lethality build, because it's usually what you see when Misfortunes go for that first strike here.
Yeah. Also, Papa Skip's going. Oh, quick
Nice little
charge
stun
the
into the
wall.
wall there. So always Poppy doing a lot of extra damage there. Ezreal already chunked to half HP, so he's already in a really bad spot. That's a great thing about Poppy. You know, people always forget that. Hey, don't stand near walls, Poppy. That is Poppy's little playground there.
They're bread and butter indeed. I was a bit calling Papa Skips going bone plating, seeming a bit optimistic, but it looks like they may be able to force these trades where they're able to take full advantage of the rune. Of course, it was already poked out before that fight. But oh, another one. Wow, Papa Skips going in, but they're down a level, so it's not really what you want to be, or the time you want to take the fight. But early aggression from the bot lane might be a sign that Stun Gaming's not going to be too afraid of the stats that Ban's been putting up, and instead will be looking to flip the script, so to speak, and get the advantage in a lane where they really should not be able to find their moment. Meanwhile, trading mid lane going pretty even, but of course, Acel being one of these champions that is relatively happy whenever his trades go even, because he is always getting these stacks. And then when he drops a star on you, it's a pretty good way to repay the favor, I suppose, of all those even trades. Both junglers pathing bot lane. Emil, of course, on Jarvan is expected to get there a little bit sooner. And in general, that 3v3 should be considered relatively win for Knights.
Doku gonna have to flash away. They're barely getting out of range of that focus resolve there. But Ezreal, he's pretty low here. Bandit's gonna have to be really careful here. No shield used yet, but Grummy Pants is going to spot out Emil also in that bot side. So Emil is a little bit ahead. He's one camp ahead in the clear, so he'll get first dibs on that bot scuttle there. So gonna have to be really careful. Stun, gonna have to be really careful of a dive here. They are really low. They do not have any more pots overall here, but nice dodge on the mantra Q there, but he's gonna get stunned up, rooted up there. Flash backwards with the aftershock. So Doku, he's gonna have to back off there. No more mana, no more follow-up. So Tiny Shoes and Bandit, they're gonna have to back off here. So it's gonna be a heal for heal used, but both flashes used by the side of Stun Gaming.
But this is the pressure Karma Ezreal exerts. All of the summoners burned for Stun's bot lane, excepting the Baron MF. And what a tempo game there. That should be bot Panda dead there from that. And that's a result of the bot lane play. Grummy Pants feeling like they had to come bot to protect their bot lane, meaning that they gave Emil double scuttle because, of course, Knights knew that their Wukong was bot side. Got double scuttle, got their base canceled there by Knight's bot lane as well. So the insane tempo loss that was affecting Stun's jungle because of the bot lane advantage already produced so early in the game led to an easy 2-for-1 play top with no room to cross map. So early lead going over to Knights. Slightly at this point, but that's still an interesting ramification where a dominant early game bot lane can so easily snowball to the rest of the map.
So I did forget to mention this part. Urgot went for that flash ignite. So obviously that teleport's gonna be 7 minutes long here. If you have the teleport, the cooldown gets reduced to 5 minutes. So mid lane, that's a lot of damage there with the breath of light. So let's see, looking at the stat counter, Acel is at currently 36, so not too bad here. It is a slight gold lead in favor of Knights, about a little under 1k, about 900 right now, 800. But right now, I mean,
cooking up here. Look at
Jarvan. Forward there, nice little execution there. But Emil is on the back end. They know the bot lane doesn't have flash, but that's going to be the steadfast presence blocking that Jarvan engage, but Misfortune is going to get taken out there even through the barrier. Jarvan is below 100 HP. Flash forward there with the auto, but Poppy or Wukong will not get it. That's Ezreal also using both his summoners there. Wukong is not going to get anything else left from that, but mid lane, that's going to be a nice little falling star there, right on the edge, as Aesol will pick up that kill there.
Also, top side, a 1v1 kill for Bot Panda. So,
Oh, bot lane. Wukong, he's going in with the Nimbus Strike. He's getting kited out there. Does not have the clone. Mantra Q right on top of him. But let's see if he can get anything else. The Conqueror's going to get procced. But that's going to be Bandit picking up that kill. Doku is coming up there. Does have the first strike. Lots of damage coming through. Doku will pick up a kill on the back end there. So he will make it a 1-for-1 trade there.
I mean, that's just what you want to see from this game, right? Both teams are limit testing to the max. This is where you see, you push your metal, you see what you're made of, you learn what you can and can't do in preparation of these incoming playoffs, and both teams getting a piece of it there, right? 1v1, oh, and Emma's looking for another play.
He's looking for the Cataclysm. Shockwave onto the Aesol to interrupt him, but the Breath of Light will still get through, and that's going to be Jakester picking up one more kill there.
You really get to see the potential of the Aesol in conjunction with a champion like Jarvan. That champion cannot move when they're doing their primarily DPS ability, which is a massive disadvantage, of course, in the game so reliant on cutting skill shots. The trade-off is the output from that DPS ability is absurd when they get to fully channel the whole stack on you. So you really get to see when a Cataclysm locks up your movement and forces you to back away from the Aesol and not just interrupt them by killing them. You just get to do whatever you want. You know, heavy trading again, bot side. You can expect this fairly consistently this entire game. That's just the nature of Karma Ezreal. And so far, Doku and Papa Skips not actually doing too bad. They're actually just about even on CS, and they're managing to get the early gold from that farm, and also getting a kill from all those bot lane plays, meaning that an early Vamp Scepter for Doku will go a long way in aiding their survivability against his double poke lane. Tiny Shoes looking for some more though.
Absolutely. I mean, he's going for that old what was it? It was Bloodthirster Rush, because that was a really popular item to rush like at the beginning of the season for like pretty much any ADC. So he's rushing that Vamp Scepter, so he should be able to kind of sustain out this poke a little bit here. So they have a nice little freeze in the bot lane for now, but he reconnected. So Tiny Shoes is pretty good right now. But again, like you said, the Aesol, like he is pretty much chilling here. Papa Skips, he's gonna get rooted up there, getting hit with a True Shot Barrage. Let's see, that's gonna be Bandit going forward there with the Arcane Shift. And he is just going to keep on pushing forward against Grumpy Pants, as that's going to be mid lane. Once again, Vapor Wisp going to get hit with the star right on the edge. He's going to play into the minion wave, so the Breath of Light does not hit him. But he's still getting hit. You got to play around the minion waves, buddy. And that's going to be the Aesol using that Singularity, and that's going to force the flash out from Vapor Wisp.
Bot lane, or Dragon start up by Knight's bot lane. You should expect to be pretty free. They got the pick onto Papa Skips, as well as that near kill mid lane, forcing Sun Gaming Nebula off of the bot side of the map, and should convert to the first neutral going the way of Knights. You saw the absolute damage that Ezreal's able to push a True Shot Barrage into Essence Flux, into Mystic Shot, into an Arcane Shift forward to finish the job. And just the tempo on Sun Gaming Nebula, they weren't quite there to punish the Ezreal for that being able to do your full damage combo. So they got away with that scot-free. Bounty starting to pick up across the board for Knights, as the gold lead has extended to nearly 3,000 gold already. I suppose just around 2.5 really. But they're trying to flip the tempo a bit. Obviously, whenever you get a tempo advantageous play, usually that means you lose tempo somewhere else. In this case, it means that Kirby Pants not being able to fight the dragon means they were able to get the base before ML, which means they should be able to get most of these grubs here. Trading having again bot lane.
Bot lane, lots of trading going on there. Doku really not taking too much advantage of that first strike here. It will be a trade of neutral objectives, so 3 grubs for the side of stun, and Knights will grab that first Drake here. It is a Mountain Drake, so that is a very nice thing to do here. It was a kind of a late Drake, I think. Yep. But top lane, Bot Panda, he's going to pop the Realm of Death here as Urgot. He's going to have to kind of run out here. Almost gets hit with the ISO Q, and he just has to flash out of that knowing he's losing at this point now. So bot lane once again, I mean, it's just same shit, silly shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll be seeing this all game. Good flash from Big Attack. Well, you really
he looks for the dive there, but that's going to be Urgot. He's going to flash in Fear Beyond Death with the outplay, but mid lane, that's going to be a Cataclysm right on top of the Orianna. Wukong is going to get hit with the Cyclone there, but Jarvan The Emil will pick up that kill there right on to the Oriana, and the Breath of Light is just going to shred him down here, and that's going to be a 2-0 in the mid lane.
I could tell you if my eyes closed which direction that fight was going to go down. What I was going to say before I got interrupted by Vacant Tech being able to burger flipping a Mordekaiser in a tower was that if you look at the inventories right now, at the time, the only 2 completed items in the lobby was Sundered Sky for Jarvan and the Rylai's for Aesol. What that means is that that 2-member combination for Knights was the most imposing force on the Rift at the time, which means any fight you took against those 2 in that moment without a significant numbers advantage. Ooh, flash forward there with both teams forced to interrupt.
Was
not going to go well.
Make it rain there. Bandit, he's going to go on forward there with the Arcane Shift, going to get hit with the tower shot. Papa Skips is going to get a kill on the back end. Emil going to go forward there with the Dragon Strike to claim the kill onto Doku. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Once again, top lane, it's going to be a bit of a fight there, but that's going to be a nice little heroic charge into this chain CC onto Emil. Let's see if he gets taken down. He will get taken down. The Ezreal is laying down the pain there, but the Urgot will get solo killed in the top lane. So many things going right for Sun Gaming here in the first 12 minutes already.
So you notice that top lane, with 3 out of the 4 kills being 1v1s, has been going dead even in the kills. However, you look at the CS and tells a different story. 20 CS up for Bob Panda, and the plates as well are starting to go the way of the Stun Gaming top laner. So you might have a significant point of pressure there for Stun Gaming to exert as we transition to the mid game. A 2-level lead up as well. Bot Panda quietly is becoming a menace on the Rift. And also keep in mind they have the teleport, which will allow them, once that of course gets upgraded, which it now is, to be pretty annoying to deal with when it comes to the map rotations, as you can't really expect the Urgot to match. Perhaps it might end up being Jakester in the 1v1 there, but you even with the Rylai's, you really don't want to handle Mordekaiser as Aesol.
He's going to get a root onto Doku, but that's going to be an Arcane Shift forward there. Oh my god, it is just the same shenanigans happening over and over again. That's a 3-0-3 Ezreal with 3/4 stacked here and a Triforce.
Talk about point of pressures, right? I mean, look, bot lane is you got a Mordekaiser winning, but it might not be enough. I mean, obviously Mordekaiser is a potent duelist, so 1v1 you expect him to do well, but I mean, when it comes to team fights, I don't know if you can realistically expect him to shut down an ADC as slippery as Ezreal. Your placement of the Realm of Death has to be so perfect to avoid giving Ezreal's any wall to Arcane Shift over.
Bot lane, that's a nice little stun into the wall there. Karma does not have flash. She will get taken down. Doku will pick up that kill there. Drake spawning in about 20 seconds here, so that is a really good pick here for Stun Gaming. Top lane. Oh, Bot Panda. He's going to flash right on top of Vacant. He knows he can win these 1v1s. It doesn't matter. Like, we talked about it before. Bot Panda will have a little bit of a rough time early, but it doesn't matter in the end. The Iron Revenant will always succeed in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you noticed there, one obliterate miss, but you do get a point of Mordekaiser. We can afford to miss your crucial skill shot, and still just your passive will just shred them so much. Unfortunately for Sun Gaming Nebula, this happens all the time. You get a pick, 30 seconds before the objective, but because you got the pick, you gave the enemy a free base, really. Your low resources you have to base. Oh, looks coming shot.
That's going to be a big star going down here. Aesol does not have flash to get over the wall, doesn't have any more mobility, but that's going to force Vapor Wisp to flash away there. So let's see. He went airy, so went for that kind of like lane dominant style. Honestly, I still think Phase Rush is still pretty good here. But right now, both junglers are hovering around that mid lane here to cover their respective mid laners. But gold lead, I mean, it's only about 2k. It's nothing too crazy. But it is 2 Drakes to 0 in favor of Knights. So they really loving this. They have this strong scaling composition. They're Drake stacking. You know, that's such a W here. As Wukong and Jarvan, they're going to 1v1 a little bit in the jungle here. Just kind of sealing the camp in his face there. Wukong, Grummy Pants is 2 levels down on Emil here, so it's a little bit of a rough time. He's down, what is that, 46 CS? Oh man, that's kind of crazy actually.
It's just their, oh yeah, it's just just a little bit of farm there going over. I was wondering to see if Stun Gaming Nebula was going to try and make a play in this Rift, considering Bot Panda is their strongest member. It looks like they're just going to cross and try and get control of the spots of the jungle, which is probably correct, seeing as Knights moved up basically the entire team. No Ace but EP was coming up, I guess, relatively shortly. I don't know how well they had that timed. Yeah, it's looking tough for Stun Gaming. Yes, you have a Mordekaiser who's getting stronger, but you can't help but think that Knights is happy with that trade if it means their Ezreal and Aesol could continue to scale.
Yeah.
Should be one more kill for said Mordekaiser.
There's nothing really to say about this. I mean, it's kind of... Oh, Bot Panda? Vacant? Yeah, I don't know why you flash, buddy. He has a Rylai's. He's going to run you down. But, again, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, we mentioned at the beginning, like, Mordekaiser early game, it's a little rough, but that's going to be a nice little gank in the mid lane there. Dashing forward with the Nimbus Strike and the Cyclone right on top of the Karma. That's going to be the Jarvan. Emil going to get grounded up there. Bullet time not going to hit onto anybody. 3-man Cataclysm. Let's see, Emil will get taken down first here. No, he's still living. The Thunder Sky. He's living so long. No damage left. And it's going to be a 1-for-2 trait there in the mid lane as Karma will get taken down first. Vapor Wisp does have that shockwave. Is he going to get the kill? He's going to get that shutdown onto the Jarvan. The Herald will get spawned into the mid lane here. So that will be the mid lane tier 1 going down in favor of Knights of the Second Dinner here. Vapor Wisp is here to cover. So there will be no more push coming from there. But there's no real objectives up right now. Both teams are kind of just fighting over air.
Stun Gaming Nebula will be happy that at the very least Bot Panda was able to get the top lane tier 1 first, so they were the ones to collect that first tower gold. But yeah, you got to see the absolute annoyance that Ezreal Carver can be, right? What looks like a great gank from Grumpy Pants is just walked away from practically. Did burn Tiny Shoes Flash, of course, but Bandit still maintaining their Flash 3-0-5 on the Ezreal. And also ML on the Jarvan at that point already had 2 full items. I mean, the Cataclysm alone on 3 members was enough to do significant damage to the health bar of Stun Gaming Nebula as a team. I mean, all told, it must have been just around 1,000 damage already at this stage of the game in aggregate on those members. So that's something that's going to continue to get to stack up as the purchase after death was a BF sword, a log sword. That's a lot of AD for a jungler.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Grummy Pants is doing pretty well here. I mean, he's scaling up pretty well. I mean, early game, he doesn't have the same gank power as Jarvan, but he is pretty chilling there. It's going to be some poke shenanigans here. Papa Skip's going to get chunked out a little bit there with the Empowered Mantra Q. But for now, I mean, both teams. Drake spawning in about a little under a minute here, so this will be soul point for a Knight, so they really want to get full prio here. Papa Skips might want to reset, kind of replenish those wards there, get another control ward in his pocket to kind of retake that prio here. Just as I say that, he does pop that reset. So for now, I mean, both teams, the gold lead is about 1.6k in favor of Knights of the Second Dinner here. So they're going to get first dibs on this bot lane river priority. So they're going to start clearing all that up. Vapor Wisp is going to get chunked out a little bit there. Jakester constantly just clearing all those waves. Let's see, checking stat count. He is currently at 215, so he's doing a ton of damage. So we're going to have to see if they can get a pick onto this Ezreal or this Aesol here. That's a good chunk of change for whoever claims that one. So now teleports are coming into the bot lane here. It is going to be a full 5-on-5 team fight. A fight like this will determine who wins the rest of the game here. Bot Panda, he's going to have to be really careful here. He's diving, a blind face checking into the enemy team, but Jakester, he does have that flash to get over the wall there, but Bot Panda is going to follow behind, and he's going to get right over the wall there, and he's getting stunned up. That's going to be a nice little bolt time there. That's going to be the first pick of the game here onto Jakester, and that's going to be stunned right on top of Grummy. Vacant tech, but 3-man Cataclysm going to flag a dragon out there. No more follow-up, but Ezreal is still balling out here. It's going to be a 1-for-2 so far in the team fight. Stun Gaming still ahead on the numbers. So Bandit, he's going in. Does not have the Arcane Shift. Not quite going to land that Arcane shot there. Emil, he's going to keep on going in there, but let's see if he can get anything else there, but he's going to get taken down. It's going to be a 3-for-1 so far in the team fight. Bandit forced to flash away with both of his summoners there. Doku is still up, does still have that BT, so he is pumping out the damage and sustaining. Oh, but the Arcane Shift there forward by Bandit, and he will pick up that kill. So it is going to be a 2-for-2 in this team fight here, and the Drake still has not been claimed yet. Tiny Shoe going to use the Empowered Mantra W there to get a little damage down, but he is not going to sustain enough there. But that's going to be a nice little team fight there that pretty much went even.
Yeah, that dance went on long enough that members are back alive and back to the river for both teams. So this fight might go longer. Bob Panda able to find the timing for the base, so they do have a teleport up, but it looks like they're just planning to walk right on back. Engaging
Papa
on Papa Skips here,
skips.
but it's
He's
going to
gonna
have
get
to be pushed
chunked a
back.
little bit, but nice
Yeah,
little damage back onto Jakester.
it's worth noting that Bot Panda was level 15. Everyone else was level 12, 13 at the time. So they could just choose someone and kill them in their ultimate. However, when the nature of Mordekaiser the champion is once you use your ultimate, you no longer have a tool to really lock them down. So Ezreal, we were able to see, but even through the Rylai's, they got hit they got caught by one ability at some point in that fight. They're able to just completely dance around you. There's no real way to lock them down.
A chunk on the
Will
Ezreal.
allow them to be the first to get
True Shot
positioned for
Barrage
the strike
only
once
on
again.
to Papa Skips there, so he's gonna be a little worse for wear. Both teams now, it is a team fight. The team fight went so long, the Death Realm literally came up again. So let's see who picks up this Scuttle Crab here. That's going to be a Cyclone only onto one, but it is going to be the crucial target of that Jarvan. But the Singularity is doing so much Drake claim by the side of Stun Gaming, as that's going to be a flip onto Mordekaiser here. He is not going to be able to sustain it long enough. I stand corrected here as he gets the 1v1 kill against that Urgot. But let's see if the rest of Stun Gaming can get on out there. Aesol going to pop the Singularity, going to Astral Flight, but he is going to get slowed up and rooted here, and now he's going to get taken down. Wolves are being the GOAT here, but that's going to be Ezreal going on in there. That's going to be a nice little heal with the Sundered Sky. Miss Fortune dodging out on all the skill shots here, but she's going to get auto to death. Wukong, he's going to have to try to juke out as much as he can, but it's going to be a double kill going over to Ezreal. It's going to be a 3-for-3 team fight, but Stun Gaming pick up the Drake and deny Soul Point.
All that and only 1k gold lead now for Knights of the Second Dinner. You have to imagine that something like 3-4k gold lead must be in the pockets of Bot Panda, as they should be approaching their third item soon. Papa Skips maybe cut it out
by
maybe to run the way out.
Papa Skips here, but he should be able to. Yeah, he should just be able to walk out.
Penny Shoes on their own does not have the damage to break through a Oppie's innate durability. I mean, you guys ask yourself, does Bandit by Serpent's Fang or something? This Mordekaiser just has so much sustainability. What with the Indestructible, what with the Riftmaker, it's just so difficult to kill whenever they're able to lay down damage on really anyone. On the flip side, you see Guardian Angel completed now for Emil, so that might be a crucial item in the next team fight, as it is worth noting that in this last one, it was Emil who was taken out first and by quite a mile there, so perhaps being able to stick around the fight for longer could make a difference when it comes to flipping things around. But for the side of Stun Gaming, really just when's Mordekaiser going to get his third item? Keep him coming.
Skips, he's going to get caught out a little bit here. He will get engaged on first. That's a 3-man knock with a Cyclone, but it's going to happen once again. Bullet time not quite hitting the mark there, and that's going to be the Urgot teleporting in, getting that Fear Beyond Death there right on top. But Tiny Shoes will get taken down here. Not quite the person who wanted Death Realm, but that's going to be Bot Panda. He's going to get taken out second now. But, oh, man, this Ezreal is going so crazy. The Astral Flight over the wall to kill the MF. And that's going to be a 4-for-1 trade here. And that is not a trade you want to do as the Baron gets started by Knights at the second table. Or second dinner.
You said it. Karma is not the target you want at Death Realm. Bot Panda is so much of Stun Gaming's strength, and the Death Realm is so much of Mordekaiser's strength that is a crucial teamfight defining cooldown, and Bot Panda knows it. I believe if we went back and took a look at it, you'd actually see that Ezreal and Karma were right on top of each other. And of course, there's no keybind in League of Legends that lets you lock in on 80 carries only, as much as Assassins would wish it. So I actually believe that that was just a micro or a millimeter misclick from the side of Bot Panda, Death Realming the Karma and not the Ezreal, which of course could have made a world of difference in the outcome of that fight.
Oh, absolutely. I think if Mordekaiser ulted the Ezreal, I think the Ezreal does die, because at that point, the Ezreal didn't have any summoners. So when you're slowing him down with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and you also have Flash yourself, you definitely kill that ADC. So really, I kind of want to see Bot Panda look for better targets to ult here, because all these teamfights kind of hinge on who he ults and if he kills them or not here. Drake spawning in about 1:30 seconds here. So they have the purple worm buff for about 2 minutes right now. So they should be pretty much chilling here. It's kind of like Knights of the Second Dinner. They're not really able to siege that well. But Bandit, he's so fed. He's 907, has 700 shutdown. gold on top of him. He's 3k, like about 3.5k up on his lane opponent. So Bandit, kind of like he's really that focal target here, and they really need to burst him down because last fight, I mean, they CC'd him up, but the Karma just doing so much with the shield here, already building Moonstone and Redemption. So you really might want to go for a Serpent's Fang later on, maybe for the Wukong, but top lane, it's going to be a 1v1 here. Death Realm is used on Urgot, but then the Fear Beyond Death isn't really going to do too much there. That is a Urgot that is or Mordekaiser that is 2-3 levels ahead of his lane opponent, so gets that 1v1 kill, so that eliminates that split push threat. Drake spawning in about 25 seconds here as Knights of the Second Dinner are playing in that bush. That's going to be a nice little ground there. Miss for it. Oh, man. Doku's taking so much damage. Two-shot barrage not going to hit the mark. But Jarvan, he's going to keep on pushing forward there, but not quite in range to get onto Doku. So Doku is forced to reset here, and it's just a slightly bad timer for this Drake, but does have that strut, so he should be able to get back pretty fast. Jarvan forced to flash away there, does not want to get picked and lose that GA before the Drake fight even actually starts. So full prio in the bot river, and that's a bit of a DC there from Vapor Wisp. But right now, I mean, this is a great little timing here for Stun Gaming if they want to get this prio in a 4v5.
Yeah, I was wondering about this. I wonder if there's a world where Doku doesn't base there because they have Bloodthirster, which obviously on its own is not nearly enough to make up for that little poke. But they have, it looks, if you look at minimap, and this was there at the time I was looking at it. There's, I believe, 2 fruits there, right? I wonder if you're back on the map faster, you just eat those fruits and run. It'd be close otherwise. This way they get to catch midway, which isn't nothing. TP coming in from Vacant Tech, and it looks like it's just going to be a free dragon for.
Oh, that's a nice little 2-man stun there by the Asol, so that just completely zones out Stun Gaming. So this should be a soul point secured here for the side of Knights of the Second Dinner here, as we get a little bit of a little pause here, a little spectator delay, of course, because, there's no such thing as a League of Legends game without a little spectator delay. But right now, I mean, Knights of the Second Dinner, they're up to about 3.5k, 3.3k in their favor. They're up soul point. It is a Cloud Soul, so I don't really think it's super great here for Knights, but I mean, a soul is a soul. Can't really complain too much
I
there.
mean, Cloud Drake on Karma is pretty good, I'll be honest. You just basically get to run around the map at, like a Formula 1 driver at that point. But you're right, other than for the rest of the members, it might not be the biggest deal, but Karma alone can make that soul feel incredibly impactful for your team, especially how often they're able to blast off that mantra. But it's definitely, yeah, maybe you'd rather have Infernal Dragon or Hextech for your 907 4-item Ezreal before 30 minutes, mind you. One absurdly snowbally game for Bandit.
Oh yeah, Bandit's absolutely balling this game. I mean, like, every single time you watch these team fights, he's absolutely playing on a knife's edge there. Arcane shifting forward, hitting all his Mystic shots, and just absolutely just winning out these team fights because there's no real great CC for the side of Stunned unless they kind of layer that Cyclone Shockwave combination, which they haven't really gotten in any of these team fights because Orianna does have a Shadow Flame second and going for that third item Rabadons. So really, I want to see Grummy Pants and Vapor Wisp kind of sync up those cooldowns to be able to get that pop onto that Ezreal here if they really want to win these team fights, because right now they're kind of bleeding out the game.
For sure. Infinity Edge is purchased for Doku, so we'll see. The bullet times have been doing a decent amount of damage in some of these fights, so we'll see if that might be one that might let them go with the edge.
That's going to be a bit of a pick there. That's going to be forcing both bot lane flash from Stun Gaming as top or bot lane. That's going to be Urgot flashing forward there with the flip. Vapor Wisp, he should be able. Nope, he does not get out. It is going to be a solo kill going over to Vacant Tech there using both of his summoners. Baron's going to spawn in about a minute, so that using those summoners might not quite be worth it, but you do force that Orianna flash on that immobile mage there. As mid lane, Knights of the Second Dinner are going to siege up this mid lane there. That's going to be going over by Emil. He's going to get chunked a little bit there. Grumpy Pants, he's so down. He's 3 levels down on his lane opponent. And like I've honestly never seen a lead this down bad before, because Emil is about to flame Horizon the Wukong here at about 30 minutes.
This down bad indeed.
Ooh,
And just speaking of
Bandit.
not worth
He's
it,
getting
in the mid
chunked
lane we
like
play. Oh,
crazy there. Not quite going to land the stun with a
yeah.
heroic charge. Papa skips. He will get taken down here with the True Shot Barrage, also hitting Doku. And Bot Panda, he's going on that flank there. That's going to be a Cataclysm onto that Mordekaiser. Going to put him into the Death Realm. Going to pull him back with the Claw. But that's going to be a nice little bullet time there. Only onto 3 members, but it is going to do a lot of damage. That's going to be 2 members below half HP, but GA is still up on that Jarvan. They're going to keep sieging that mid lane, and they will finally take that tower. Doku going to have to be really careful. Should be able to stay in with the Bork, or the BT, but Vapor Wisp still has that shockwave, so really holding on to that for a rainy day here as the rest of Knights go for that Baron here. Lots of low health bars, and they will doesn't look like they're gonna get here on time. This should be Knights getting a free uncontested Baron here right before the Soul spawns in a minute 30.
You know, sometimes it's so great watching the game through spectators' eyes because there's something so bizarre about watching a Jarvan ult a Mordekaiser and then Mordekaiser ult a Jarvan and just walking through the Cataclysm's walls because they're in the Death Realm now. But sometimes League is a beautiful game.
Oh, I love League of Legends. It's taken over my life. That's what happens when you play this. You only play League of Legends for the past like 8-10 years. But free prio for the side of Stun Gaming. They're gonna get first dibs on this Drake here, but they're gonna pop some resets here, so they're gonna immediately lose this priority. That teleport's a little bit ambitious here. Your team is teleporting away there. Bob Panda gonna get slowed up with the singularity, gonna get hit with all these mystic shots, but he should just be able to walk on out there. Gonna be a little bit worse for where he is. He's gonna get chunked even harder now as the Ezreal is like Bandit just hitting everything onto Bot Panda. He's really just spacing this out. Why do you keep playing dodgeball in that singular bush as he finally flashes over the wall here to get out of dodge? He does not have to teleport anymore as the Poppy will be the first person to get picked off here as the Redemption gets called down. That's going to be a nice little bullet time onto 2 members. The Cyclone is on the back end there. The Star going to get called into the back line, and Asol is just breathing all over Stun Gaming, and they are falling like flies here. Bot Panda trying to do as best as he can, but the Obliterate will not do enough damage. It's going to be a 5-0 ace here, and I think that might be the end of the game.
You're outraged, outdamaged, and outplayed. Bandit starting the fight off by Arcane shifting forward, knowing exactly the range of Bot Panda's champion. And like I said, that should be it. That's teamfight 1. You have Baron push. Towers are falling, and first game should be going over shortly to Knights of the Second Dinner.
Knights of the Second Dinner pick up that game 1 victory. It really was never in Stun Gaming's hands here. They had a couple good little flashes, but otherwise it was pretty much Knights in the driver's seat the entire time here. But I mean, looking at this, I mean, they pretty much got stopped. Like they kind of had like they had 2 losing lanes, so their bot side pretty much got stomped, and then Bot Panda really couldn't assert his will over anybody else on the side of Knights. So like a game like this, it kind of sets the tempo for the rest of the series. I mean, 11-0-10. He had like a 66% KP. This game did 43,000 damage, almost double anybody on Stun Gaming. So maybe Stun kind of want to put a little bit focus into Bandit here in that bot lane and look for a strong side bot lane draft.
Obviously, a really insane game from Bandit. But yeah, Baby Panda also having a good showing, specifically in the 1v1. Definitely felt like they had Vacant Tech's number, potentially a point, an opportunity, a window of opportunity for Stun Gaming for the rest of the series. That might be where they might look to try and blow open the rest of the map. As you mentioned, I'd also like to see Stun Gaming pick up bot lane with a more favorable matchup. But I wonder if they'd rather Bandit from getting too far ahead. That might be enough for the top side of your map to win the game for you. But yeah, we'll be going to break soon, and we'll be back for game 2 of this match, best of 3, shortly. So don't go anywhere.